The O'Reilly Factor is on tonight.
If we begin to hit them hard in ISIS, I promise you it will light up the Middle East for young men who say, I want to join ISIS.
NBC's Tom Brokaw makes a stunning claim that the U.S. campaign may do more harm than good and breed more radical Muslim terrorists. We'll debate that.
The president stayed away from saying that we're at war with ISIS. Is the U.S. at war with ISIS?
No, look, we're engaged in a counterterrorism operation of a significant order.
No? What a difference a day makes.
In the same way that the United States is at war with al-Qaeda and its affiliates around the globe, the United States is at war with ISIL.
What's going on? We'll have a Factor investigation.
I'm going to say something that might get me in trouble in some circles. I think he should be allowed at some point to come back into the NFL.
As outrage over the Ray Rice scandal reaches a fever pitch, some now say the punishment against him has gone too far. We'll hear from both sides of the controversy tonight. Caution, you're about to enter the no spin zone. The Factor begins right now. Hi, everybody. I'm Eric Bolling in for Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Let's get right to our top story, destroying the ISIS threat as the U.S. ramps up its campaign to wipe out ISIS. It sounds like some folks on the far left are trying to undermine that effort. Take a listen to NBC's Tom Brokaw.
They're in a place that's the size of Indiana now. They've been extraordinarily effective in getting what they want out of all of this. It's going to go on for a long time because you're dealing with people who have, in my judgment, a completely distorted view of their faith, but it drives them. And if we begin to hit them hard in ISIS, I promise you it will light up the Middle East for young men who say, I want to join ISIS.
But a disturbing new CIA report finds that the number of ISIS fighters soared to as many as 31,000 across Iraq and Syria in recent months. Previous estimates put the total number of ISIS fighters at just around 10,000. The CIA says the recruiting surge is a direct result of ISIS's battlefield successes earlier this summer and its declaration of an Islamic caliphate, not U.S. military involvement. Joining us now with reaction from Washington, Matthew Duss, president of the Foundation for Middle East Peace, and from Palm Springs, California, Rick Grinnell, a Fox News contributor and former advisor to 4 U.S. ambassadors to the UN. Grinnell, I'm going to start with you. Brokaw's worried that if we attack ISIS, if we fight back, it's going to invigorate ISIS, it's going to tick off radical Islamists in the Middle East. News to the Obama administration, they're already ticked. They were born ticked off.
Yeah. I mean, this is a ridiculous statement, Eric. It's the idea of you should leave the hornet's nest right where it is, because if you deal with it, then you might get stung. Well, the fact is you're going to get stung because they're building a hornet's nest. I can assure you this, Tom Brokaw has never had an intelligence briefing. He's never read the blue sheets, because if you do, you see that there are people who want to destroy America, and they're plotting. The lesson of 9/11 is we cannot wait for the guy to get into the plane before we deal with him.
And Matthew, it didn't seem to work when President Obama said, you know, it's the JV team. It's not Kobe Bryant. It's not the Lakers. It's the JV team. Then they started beheading Americans. So how about we do try a new strategy? What's wrong with getting tough with ISIS?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting tough with ISIS, and honestly, I'm a bit confused over all the consternation over Brokaw's comments. I think it's one thing to say that doing anything will only create more problems, but I think if the only thing that we do is do airstrikes against ISIS, I think that is a problem. I think what we need to understand is that there has to be a much broader political strategy to accompany the military option. The military tool can only be one part of a broader set of tools to this approach, and I think that's exactly what President Obama outlined the other night.
Well, no, I think that's exactly what he didn't outline. I think you just said you need boots on the ground. I assume you're saying military troops on the ground when you say we need a broader strategy than just airstrikes.
No,
President Obama said,
I mean.
Okay, so explain.
No, I'm saying if we're going to use airstrikes to push back ISIS and degrade them. But I think, and this actually goes back to something that I agree with from the George W. Bush administration, probably not something you hear a lot of progressives say on your air, is I think after 9/11, George W. Bush recognized that illegitimate, undemocratic, unaccountable governments in the region were a driver of extremism and were empowering these extremist groups. I think I agree with that analysis. So the point is that you need to have a broader strategy to address the grievances and some of the factors that contribute to young men traveling great distances to join up with groups
Matthew,
like
are you suggesting we need to sit down and talk to these people and find out what's making them mad at us before we fight back? And because let me just throw this out here. Do you ever hear of the rattlesnake rationale? A guy from Texas said this to me. He has a ranch in Texas. He has shrubs and bushes outside his ranch, but every time a rattlesnake comes on to his property, he kills it. He doesn't ask the rattlesnake, why are you coming onto my property, or why are you so mad at me, why do you want to bite me? He kills the rattlesnake when he comes onto the property. I would say ISIS could be considered the rattlesnake here, no?
Sure, I mean, that's a fun anecdote, but I think if we're going to take a broader, more nuanced view of why people join up with ISIS, take account of the grievances that cause young men to join up and want to fight.
Matthew, what are they? What are the grievances? What, because Israel is in the Middle East? Are we going to start to explain why it's okay that Israel is in the Middle East, and barring an Israeli complete move out of the Middle East, they're still going to be mad at Israel and America for that matter?
Well, you're the one who introduced Israel here. I want to, like I said, I think this is something that the Bush administration itself after 9/11 recognized. So I think if you want to take issue with their analysis, you can do that. That might surprise me a bit. But they recognize that the factors that led people to join terrorist groups, and these are in fact some of the same reasons that led to the uprisings that we saw in 2011 and 2012, the Arab awakening or the Arab uprisings, whatever you want to call them. These are young people with no options. They have governments that do not serve their interests, and they are sick and tired of it.
Let me get Rick in here. Rick, all I wanted to hear from President Obama in that 9 p.m. speech was, hey, terrorists, look up in the sky because in 15 minutes it's going to be raining hellfire missiles on you. I didn't hear any of that. I heard, hey, we're going to step it up a little bit. Your thoughts, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he keeps talking about some sort of future action, but the simple fact is he didn't even send John Kerry to the region to do diplomacy until this week. I mean, this is an administration that has no strategy. The idea that it's Americans' fault for striking back against terrorism is ridiculous. We absolutely have to deal with these radicals in a very harsh way. It's not our fault, and we have to respond.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right there, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Up next, the Obama administration reverses itself after refusing to say we're at war with ISIS. Why the change of tune? A Factor investigation moments away.
Watch Fox News Channel anytime, anywhere. Fox News Go.